Hi, my name is Mayhemstar, and welcome back to Girlfriend Simulator. Now we will aim for 100% unease. We will skip past all the sections that we've already seen, and we'll cut straight to anything with choices. I think we skip, can we? Yeah, we can. Right, so last time we said reassure her, right? So we tell her you don't remember her. I'm sorry, but even if you are my girlfriend, I don't remember you at all. Are we really a couple? Well, of course we are. +5 unease. Nagi glowers at me. It's quite an unnerving expression, actually, which makes me tremble. Why does she look so angry? I understand being upset, but... I wouldn't lie about this, Ayamu. Do you think I'm a liar? No, I guess not, but... Well, good. Don't ask me silly questions then. It's quite hurtful, really, being told by your own boyfriend that he doesn't remember you. If you weren't as sick as you are, I would be upset. But it's to be expected, I guess, that you'd be a little confused, given you have such a high fever. I guess I can let you off the hook. For now, at least. Bowl of warm porridge, herbal tea. Nourishing, smell pretty good. Can't see anything wrong. Is this safe to eat? I'm not sure if I should eat this. I still don't know who Nagi is. Not really. She says she's my girlfriend, but I don't recognize her. +5 unease, yes, that's what I want. For all I know, she could be a member of a cult. Could this be all a ploy to brainwash me? It's unlikely, but... Oh, it's very likely. Well, aren't you going to eat Ayumu? I'm going to butcher your name till I get it right. You look almost as pale as the porridge. I wonder how fair of an assessment that is. I can't see my own reflection, so I can't confirm or deny it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was true, though. I do feel pretty rotten. I don't know what to make of Nagi's hospitality, or of Nagi herself for that matter. But perhaps I'd be better off going along with what she wants. I don't want to upset her. What do I even have to be suspicious of anyway? Am I afraid that Nagi might have sneaked a razor blade into my food? That would be ridiculous. That was very possible. Well, we know it's possible. This current generation of Ayumu, has no clue. I'm not thinking clearly. Ayumu, don't you like porridge? Oh no, it looks really good. I'm sure it'll be delicious. Aren't you gonna eat it then? It'll go cold if you keep dilly-dallying, silly. Right. I'll try a bit of it. Thank you, Nagi. Interestingly, the skip button darkens out during sections which are constant. So dialogue that's a constant between whatever route that you're going for, the skip button is always available. So it's only when you go onto a route that's not always available, like an eat or don't eat or question or don't question, that does the skip button grey out. That's interesting. So which means I should be able to press skip again. Yes, that's right. Yeah, it wouldn't matter because that's all, it's all scripted, only in my dreams. +5 unease. No matter what Nagi says, I don't think Crimson Fantasia has ever been very popular. I've sunk endless hours into that story, but I don't think it ever caught on. A few kind people commented on the story in the beginning saying it seemed promising, but even these regulars dropped off past the 10th chapter or so. I adored my story, but the public at large didn't seem to care very much about it, if at all. It was much harder to get any meaningful attention than even a cynic like myself had imagined. I was a nobody, really. But she, at least, was always there for me. Right, we don't go to sleep. We stay awake. No, it's alright, I've already slept a lot. I don't think I'm ready to snatch 40 winks just yet. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna hide behind my microphone as we get through this. Are you sure? You'll never be able to shake this sickness if you don't get enough rest. I'm worried about you. 3 unease, here we go. Nagi's eyes bore into mine. They look like very large, almost all-encompassing, in a way, and all shallow. I could get lost in those eyes, if I let myself. They're hollow. They're dull. I don't want to let my self-appointed nurse down, but... No, it's fine, I appreciate your worry, but I'm a grown man. I can look after myself, more or less. Humph, you say that, but I know better. I beg your pardon? Now that was an unexpectedly harsh tone. Does Nagi have some dirt on me or something? You heard what I said. 2 1-E's. You say, you can look after yourself, but who's the one who let his shower get all grotty, huh? You've been cleaning my home? Who's the one who left that huge box of potatoes your parents shipped for you from the countryside under your bed for months and months until they started sprouting feelers? Who's the one who never cooks? On the rare occasions he tries, he peels his fingers or gets eggshell in his omelets, huh? +2, huh? Ooh, you're getting mad. Who could that be, Ayumu? I'm sure I have no idea. Well, shit. I don't know. Nagi's face could do that. I didn't know Nagi's face could do that. She doesn't look very cute now, in the midst of chewing me out, but maybe I deserve it. I am a disaster of a human being after all. I'm sorry, Nagi. I know I'm pretty awful at looking after myself. No, you don't say. And I'm glad that I have you around to clean up after me. Really, I am. I appreciate everything you've done for me. You're too good to me. What? Really? Do you remember everything now, Ayumu? Not entirely, no. I can remember the way my apartment used to look though, which was something of a squalid hellhole, and that's being rude to squalid hellholes. Squalid. Interesting, I think I might incorporate that into my vocabulary if it's a real word. If Nagi's the one who painstakingly swept the floor clean of empty soda bottles, junk food wrappers, and worn clothes, then she's even better than a girlfriend. She must be some kind of goddess. I remember what you've done. I remember that you've done a lot for me, yeah. I know you're always putting me first, which is very sweet of you. You don't have to worry about me right now, though. I'm running a bit of a fever, sure, but it's not that serious. I'm not about to die. Aren't you already dead? You don't need to keep me in bed around the clock. So you say. But I'm afraid if I don't keep a close eye on you, you'll start pushing yourself too hard. That's why you need to rest. I'll be fine. Simply being with you is stressful enough. Restful enough. Ooh. Oh, Nagi stammers, then blushes. I didn't think that corny line could actually work on her, so I'm pretty surprised. I know I've written much more romantic lines in the past in Crimson Fantasia, in the quieter, more serious scenes exchanged between Haru and Iris. Iris? I don't have much experience with relationships, at least, until I met Nagi, so working on those scenes always took me a while. It was like pulling teeth, only it was even more excruciating. I can't think of anything worse than making a clueless virgin write romance scenes. Are you sure about that, Ayumu? I'm quite sure. I'm getting tired of staying in bed, actually. It's starting to make me feel a little bit insane. So why don't you let me help you out? You took time making that rice porridge for me, so I might as well do the washing up. Wouldn't that be fair? I hate washing up, and household chores in general, but it seems important that I volunteer my services to Nagi. I don't want her to think I'm a complete waste of space. Nagi, however, doesn't seem too impressed by my suggestion. She doesn't thank me. Instead, she tuts. Don't be silly. You're much too tired to wash the dishes. I'm tired, but I'm not that tired. I can handle a few chores. You might be able to handle it, but that doesn't mean you should. You ought to leave everything to me. That's why I came here, dummy. I did it to look after you, so you can recuperate as much as you want. You really should be sleeping. But if you're really not tired, maybe you can sit in the kitchen with me while I do the washing up. We can talk if you want. You can tell me about the latest plot developments you have in mind for Crimson Fantasia. That would be fun. It's not a bad idea, I guess. It sure beats staying in bed all day, languishing. Are you sure you want to hear about the next chapter though? You don't want me to spoil it for you? I don't mind, you always bounce plot ideas around with me. It's nothing new. +1 unease? I thought that would be quite calming. Do I? Indeed. I can't say I recall that. But then again, I don't recall much of anything. I shouldn't question it. Alright, let's do that. Yay! Let me get started on the dishes then. You can come with me, Ayumu. I'm really pumped to see how Iris is going to get out of this one, hehe. Nagi helps me out a bit with all the consideration you might show an elderly grandparent. Her right arm snakes around my wrist and her chest presses against my side. She's close enough to me that I can feel her hair on my cheek. That's an odd description. Anyway, I'll let Nagi lead me to the kitchen, although in actuality I don't think I'm so very sick that I really need her help. Though thoughtfulness is appreciated though. She's being very gentle. Nagi settles me down at the table, then turns to the sink. She turns on the tap deftly, in a way that suggests a familiarity with my kitchen, and sets to work. The water cascades against the basin of the sink in a regular manner, like rainwater down the gutter. Nagi begins to hum to herself as she washes up. It's a light, lilting sort of hum, something distinctly melodic. All the while, the pot in the sink begins to fill with water. I watch captivated as this water bursts its banks, then spills over the sides of the pot and into the plug hole. Nagi continues her work like this for a brief while, unimpeded before she speaks up. So, Ayumu. Nagi glances at me from behind, from over her shoulder, still smiling. What's going to happen in the next chapter of Crimson Fantasia? Inquiring minds are simply desperate to know. Iris was in a pretty tricky spot when chapter 63 left off. Things were looking kinda dicey. I can't see how she's going to fight her way out of this, not when Haru's been detained. There's no way you can kill her off though, she's much too important. I wasn't planning to kill Iris, no, she's a central part of the story. Without her, Haru would be totally lost. He relies on her a lot, just like she relies on him. They're pretty codependent. Well, I knew that much, their relationship is pretty cute really, if Iris is too proud to say that she likes him. That's another reason why she can't die here. I won't accept it. She has to at least confess to Haru first, otherwise all that work he put into establishing their relationship would have been for nothing. Almost like, what's its name? Kill la Kill. Is it Kill la Kill? No, Akamega Kill. Right, everyone just dies anyway, so it doesn't matter who confesses to who, everyone's dead. Of course I considered that too. I don't want the conclusion of Haru and Eris's romance arc to be unsatisfying. I still have a lot of plans for Eris, her story isn't even nearly over yet. I'm glad to hear it, but how's she gonna escape then? She won't get a last minute power up, will she? No, I don't think. That'll be too much of a cliche. A bit too cliche, sorry. I was thinking of having Harmonia rescue her, actually. Ooh, that would be a great way to re-establish their relationship. I know Harmonia... Can I just ask what this has to do with the main story? Like, this just seems to... No, I won't critique it. Not now. I'll talk about it later. I know Harmonia's wanted to get to know her sister better, but she's never really had the chance. She's too busy with all that princessy stuff, and anyway, Eris is so aloof. What if this Crimson Fantasia is somehow related to Ayumu in this current, in his current state of being? What if this is how would I say it? A huge metaphor for a book. Like, Haru's being detained, right? Ayumu is also being detained. He's being detained by this girl. I wonder if I'm looking too far into it. Eris has to learn to set their differences aside though. I don't think she'll ever be happy otherwise. I agree with you there, yeah. I want to give Eris and Harmonia a chance to make up with one another properly. And having Harmonia save Eris from a life or death situation seemed the best way to go about it. Harmonia would probably feel obliged to act in any case, given Eris is her twin sister. She's felt guilty ever since Eris was cast out of the palace because of that silly prophecy. She's wanted to help her sister for years. But I'm having some doubts about this story beat. You are? Yeah, it seems a bit derivative, I guess. I know there's a similar scene with Astra and Cornelia in Elf Forest, and well, Harmonia is a princess and her parents are very overprotective. They never let her leave the castle. She was only able to sneak out before because she was disguised, but her guards captured her and brought her back. Now her parents know about her old escape route. It'd be even harder for her to get away. Get away? I'm not sure if Harmonia would be able to escape the confines of her chamber to see her sister, and even if she did, would she really be able to stop the Arcanist? Harmonia knows a bit of magic, but she's nowhere near as strong as Eris. In a battle, she'd probably be a hindrance. Maybe in a normal fight, she'd be standing up for her own sister, though. I think that'd give her a boost. I guess it doesn't really solve the initial problem, however, of getting her to the fight in the first place. Keeps going. Oh, it's fine. I'm sure you'll be able to figure something out, Ayumu. You're a genius after all. I think genius is overselling me a little bit. And I don't think it's selling you enough. You've written a lot of Crimson Fantasia, and in such a short space of time too. And I think it's all super impressive. The characters are also lifelike. They feel like real people. Especially Haru and Eris. That's what I'm trying to... Yeah, I was talking about that. Right? Maybe Eris is Nagi and Haru is Ayumu. They could have like parallels between his story and, you know, the real world to Ayumu. Could be a self-insert. You know what I mean? They have so much depth. They have so many hopes and dreams. And the fight scenes are really cool too. If anybody can think of a satisfying conclusion to this arc, I'm sure you can. I mean, obviously you can. You're the only one who invented this whole universe. Sorry, you're the one who invented this whole universe. I guess. My reply when it comes is non-committal. I appreciate Nagi's support, but... Save. Okay, we're down a very different route from going with the 0% ease. Very, very different route. It's a bit embarrassing. As much as I appreciate Nagi's kindness, I'm not used to being complimented like this. Not to my face at least. It's making me feel undecidedly flushed. I can feel my cheeks turning red and my head is starting to ache again. All of a sudden I feel disorientated. Am I alright? Ayumu. Nagi looks at me, her brow creased with concern. She's still standing by the sink and in one hand she's holding quite a sharp, hefty knife. She must have been in the middle of cleaning it because the silvery blade of the knife is damp with water. A few clear crystalline droplets of water roll down the shaft of the knife, then pool at the junction where the blade meets the handle. Nagi's fingers are wet, and so is the front of her blouse. I watch as round, pearl-like droplets roll off the knife then fall through the air. It's almost hypnotic. I find myself staring at the sharp blade of Nagi's knife and the water that's trickling down it until my head begins to ache. A dull, buzzing sound fills my skull. I feel like I'm on the brink of remembering something. But... Ayumu. Looking worried now, Nagi casts the knife into the sink where it lands with a dull metallic clatter and rushes over to me. She rests her hand on either side of my chair, effectively fencing me in, and leans towards me, her damp... Come on, man, I'll read it fine. Her damp chest inches away from my own. Ayumu, are you alright? I look at Nagi dazedly. Her face is inches from my own. Her eyes are really huge. +3 on ease. All of a sudden, everything feels like too much. The walls of my kitchen are crammed, claustrophobic. It feels like they're closing in on me. I wonder if that's the door to the outside right behind Nagi. On her right, our left. I can't breathe. Ayumu. I close my eyes, squeezing them shut in an attempt to steady myself. I inhale slowly, then exhale. I can smell mold and mildew. I can smell decomposing food, unwashed clothes, and the stench of my dirty skin. I can smell copper, rust, and blood. My eyes are beating inside my skull in tandem with my heart. My stomach churns. I feel like I'm going to vomit. Ayumu. But the moment passes. My eyelids flicker open and once again my eyes meet Nagi's. They're so full of concern, practically pregnant with it, that I feel guilty for worrying her. So full of concern, practically pregnant with it. That's one way of putting it. Some boyfriend I am. I'm sorry. I just feel a little lightheaded. That's all. But I'm fine now. You don't need to worry about me. Well, of course I'm going to worry about you. I care about you. I know you want to act tough and all, but you don't need to put on the front around me. I can see right through you. You're feeling sick again, aren't you? Maybe a little. I knew it. Nagi sighs. You guys are all the same, I swear. You're all so boneheaded. You like to act tough, even when you're unwell, until it all gets too much, and you can't keep pretending. The music is gone, by the way. I wonder why. By that point, however, it's already too late. You're awful at asking for help. Now let's get you settled again. Beneath your sheets. I'll not have you overexerting yourself. Not on my watch. I'm actually feeling a little better since that strange experience I had, but I doubt anything good will come from telling Nagi about this. I don't think she'll listen to me. She looks too annoyed. For such a slender girl who isn't particularly tall, she's surprisingly stern. Alright. So, no, okay. I mean, if you wanted to call it that way. You want to describe it that way. Alright, you know best. I wouldn't want to take my nurse. I wouldn't want to make my nurse worry, so I'll try to take better care of myself. See to it that you do. I can help, but there's only so much I can do. Music's returning. It's with a stern rebuke that Nagi helps me to my feet. She guides me back to my bedroom. Her left arm wound around my waist to steady me. I let her walk to my bedside, and I let her sit me down. She pulls back my covers in one deft, smooth movement, a bit like a magician, and obediently I lie on my back. There, that's much better. You should be safe now, Ayumu, so don't fret. I'm going to keep a really close eye on you, see? I'm not going to let anybody hurt you, not while I'm around. Not even you, hehehe. Nagi giggles to herself, then bends, her short hair cascading over her slender shoulders. It looks like she's reaching for something. But what? I watch on, my interest piqued. There isn't much else to watch in my small bedroom, which has been scoured clean, as Nagi retrieves a mysterious object from the ground. It's woolen, whatever it is, and comprised of numerous pastels, baby blues and pale pinks. Its shape is strange and indeterminate, immutable, almost, and I can't quite place where it's supposed to be. In Nagi's fingers she's holding a pair of spiked implements, which, if their ends weren't so blunt, might be good ways to torture somebody. She's knitting. I wonder what they could be. Hey Nagi, what's that? Oh, this? I just thought I'd do some knitting. You know, it's one of my hobbies. Hehe. Do I know that? Yeah? Would you not know a ball of wool and or twine or whatever it is, and 2 knitting needles, like big ones? I mean, you could kill someone with them, but they're not that sharp. I'm not sure, but I probably should. I hope this isn't bothering you, Ayumu. Oh no, it's fine, I don't mind. Please feel free. That's what I like to hear. I'll do some knitting, then, while you lie down. Do you want to have a nap? Not just yet, I'm not tired. Are you sure? You look a little drowsy to me, but if you're not ready to nod off just yet, I suppose I can turn the TV on. There's a TV? We have a TV? I don't know what's airing right now, but that should be more interesting than staring at the walls or at watching me knit. I think watching Nagi knit is pretty interesting myself. She's awfully dexterous with her fingers. Fingers with are long and slender, almost like needles themselves. Why am I +1 on ease? I thought we were feeling pretty good. Then again, I am aiming for 100% on ease. Dots. A shiver runs up my spine, and unnerved I glance away from Nagi. It's not like Nagi's fingers, much different from my own, even if her skin is paler, but they don't look quite right. They remind me of dolls. Do they have too many joints? That's ridiculous though, surely. Ayumu, is something wrong? Oh no, I'm fine. Let's see what's on TV, shall we? That sounds like a plan to me. Nagi retrieves the remote from my bedside table, then switches the TV on. My TV is an old boxy set, more than a dozen years out of date, and the picture flickers quite a lot. I never really bothered watching it myself because the shaking pictures make me feel seasick. I think I can endure that right now though. I feel so sick already, I doubt this old TV will be able to make things much worse. Nagi flips through the channels idly, past the news which he deems to be too depressing, and some documentary about lions on the Serengeti, which he says is too violent, until she settles on some children's cartoon. It seems to be a magical girl show based on the designs of the characters. The main cast is comprised of elementary school age girls with wide eyes and big bright hair that reminds me of plasticine. Let me read that again. The main cast is comprised of elementary school age girls with wide eyes and big bright hair that reminds me of plasticine. It's fairly cute, I guess. It's inoffensive, a bit like Nagi's homemade rice porridge. I'm not really into kiddie stuff like this, but I can deal with it. Have you watched Palua Madoka Magica Magic Girl? If you haven't, get around to it. Is this alright, Ayumu? It's fine, I guess. It should be able to distract from my sickness if nothing else. I wish the screen wasn't flickering so much though. Good, let's leave this on then. Alright, Nagi. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah, you're probably not real. Like, we know you're not real, number one. Number two, you could be a demon. You could be a doll incarnate. Actually, I have another idea. What if you were a you-know-what kind of doll that has been, done so often that you're now standing on your 2 feet and you've been given life? You can't deny that. It's a possibility. I'm pretty fond of this series, actually. You are? Yeah, who doesn't love magical girls? I was really into this stuff when I was a kid. I wanted to be a magical warrior myself one day. I wanted to save the whole world with the power of love. I even wrote that on my career survey back in 1st grade, hehe. I think my teacher was a bit bemused, but what did they expect? That's what all little girls want to be. So how did that go? Were you able to make your dream come true? Well, none of my wishes on shooting stars have ever come true just yet. I still haven't met my own fairy, and I haven't been given a transformation item. I did figure, however, that I don't need to save the whole world. That'd be quite an undertaking, hehe. My love might be boundless, but my energy isn't. I can't be everywhere at once. Clack 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 goes Nagi's knitting needles. But I can be by your side. That's all I want, really. Then you're going to be my magical girl? Well, why not? It sounds like a worthy challenge, especially since you're so bad at looking after yourself. Oof. Hey, was that really necessary? It's all fair in love and war, Ayumu. And anyway, you know I'm right. You were in a really bad state before you met me. I worry that what might have happened to you if we'd not started dating. Clack clack clack. But we don't need to worry about that because I am here. I'll always be here. What's that? That's what magical girls do. I thought you were my nurse though. There's nothing stopping me from being a magical nurse. I guess not. No. I wonder what that would look like. Me too, I might have to sketch up an idea, hehe. You can draw? You know I can draw, silly. Who do you think sent you all that fan art of Eris? Good point. I can remember that at least. The art that Nagiko sent me of her renditions of Crimson Fantasia's main characters was very precious to me. It made quite the impression. Nobody else had ever drawn me art of my own characters, not before nor after. I was so elated when I received those drawings I couldn't stop smiling. I was on cloud 9 for the whole day. If anybody had seen me, they probably would have thought that I looked creepy, and maybe I did. I didn't care though. That was the first time I'd ever felt so happy. What the hell's going on? I just lost 5 on ease, and I'm at 33% now. And now I've got a new scene. This warm feeling floods my stomach once more as, contented, I look back at the television set. This episode looks to be an important one. The main magical girl, whose name is, of all things, Pumpkin, is facing off against what I assume is the final boss. Is this the season finale? What an episode for me to start on. Pumpkin stares up at her rival and with narrow eyes she says, "I can't let this stand. I have to save. I won't let. Give up her dreams." The colors on the screen are a little distorted and so is Pumpkin's voice, but I think I understand what's going on, more or less. I continue to watch the show and Nagi continues to knit. The regular clack 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 of her needles acts as a backdrop to the action on the screen. What if Harmonia is Pumpkin? It's quite a soothing sound. It merges with the sounds of my own breathing, the irregular static of the television set. My eyelids begin to droop. I think I must have begun at some point to drift off. +2 unease, but I'm swiftly snapped back into consciousness by a series of harsh electronic beeps. That sounds familiar. Is that my phone? Somebody must be trying to call me. I clean forgot when I was looking for a clock earlier about my phone. Its existence has slipped my mind. Now I can hear my phone ringing. However, now that I can feel it vibrating against my upper thigh, I'm surprised it could have evaded my attention for so long. Why didn't I think to check it earlier? I reach into my pocket. My fingers curl about my phone, but before I can retrieve it, Nagi looks at me and says, "Ignore that." Huh? I look at Nagi nonplussed. Time to go search up what that means. What's the matter? That infernal buzzing is the matter. Don't bother with your phone, Ayumu. I doubt it'll be anything important. Just hand it over to me. There's a good boy. You're too sick to take any calls right now. But nothing. Nagi's face distorts, but it lasts only an instant. She inhales. Then she says very calmly, "I'm saying this for your own good, Ayumu. Don't look at me like that. I would never, ever do anything to hurt you." She sounds pretty insistent about this, but then again she does. But then again so does the mystery caller, who still hasn't hung up. My phone is still buzzing in my pocket. I can feel it juddering against my fingers in my right hand, which are pressed against it. It would be easy to take my phone out of my pocket and answer it, but it would be equally easy to hand my phone over to Nagi, and she seems so worked up about this for some reason which is escaping me, that I don't want to upset her. She is doing this for my sake after all. What should I do? We save. And we answer that phone. Oh yeah, we answer that phone. Let's go, Nagi. I'll fight you mano a mano. Nagi might not be very happy about this, but the continued buzzing of my phone is making me wonder. I'd like to discover who's calling me at the very least, so I can determine whether it's something important. What if it's one of my lecturers from university, wondering where I am? Granted, that thought does make me feel a little sicker than I am already, I mean. But I don't think there's anything to be gained by avoiding this call. It's with this thought in my mind that I extricate my phone from my pocket, then check who's currently calling me. Let me say that again. It's with this thought in my mind that I extricate my phone from my pocket, then check who's currently calling me. I was looking at the caller would shed some light on the situation, but it's an unknown number. Well, that's not very helpful. It's probably a scam call then, but I might as well take it just to make sure. I accept the call and press my phone to my ear and address them. Hello. Who is this? Dots. I'm met initially by the low hum of static. I can't hear anything on the other end of the line beyond a faint buzzing that sounds like flies, no matter how much I strain my ears. Was this a waste of time? Hello? Hello, who is this? I try again, repositioning my phone against my ear as though this might help, and the moment I do, I hear it. Somebody's crying, +3 unease. They're crying my name. Ayumu, oh please Ayumu. It's hard to identify the speaker, given the call is modulated with static, but their voice sounds familiar. It's a female voice, that much at least I can discern, It's high-pitched and breathy, and it sounds stricken. +3 unease. Ayumu, please wake up. Huh? What do they mean by that? Did I mishear them? The line's so bad, that's not beyond the realm of possibility, but I think that's enough of that. Alright, Nagi. I guess I'll have to fight you. A frowning Nagi reaches out before I have a chance to formulate a reply and plucks my phone from my hand. I thought I was gripping onto my phone pretty tightly, but Nagi is able to wrestle it from me without too much effort. Tight-lipped Nagi looks down at the caller. She clicks her tongue, then she hangs up. What a waste of time. Nagi stashes my phone in her own skirt pocket, then plants her hands on her hips. You shouldn't have answered that, Ayumu. I told you not to. You're in no fit state to talk to other people right now, and anyway, it's only upset you. What? But Nagi? I look at Nagi, my girlfriend, uneasily. I can't see my own expression, of course, but I can feel it twisting. I don't know who was calling, but they sounded really distressed. They were calling out to me. They told me to wake up. What do you think that means? It doesn't mean anything. It was just a prank. Don't pay it any heed. It was probably one of your friends at university playing pretend. Goodness. People can be so inconsiderate. They must have too much time on their hands if they think teasing you is a good use of their time. I've already half a mind to phone them back, give them a piece of my mind. But I don't want to give them the satisfaction. They don't deserve it. Humph. Well, let's not talk about this anymore. The less said about your so-called friends, the better. Other people are all annoying. Let's not worry about them, alright? Right, I'll try to forget about that then. Good. I'm glad to hear it, hehe. The matter of the mysterious caller settled. A giggling Nagi returns to her knitting. I watch her, my head propped on my pillows, and Nagi manipulates her needles through her amorphous pastel creation. Clack, clack, clack. The sunlight which spills through my window catches on the edges of the needles so they seem to flash. The regular repetitive sound of Nagi's needles puts me in mind of cracking bones. The regular repetitive sound of Nagi's needles puts me in mind of cracking bones. 3 unease. Nagi looks content though, poring over her knitting, but my own feelings of uneasiness remain. My stomach is churning again. What is going on here? I'm sure there's more to Nagi than what it might initially seem. Something beyond her cute pom-pom earrings and her sweet smiling face, but clack, clack, clack. We're gaining. I can't think of what that something more might be. I don't know who she is, but maybe I'm afraid to know. I'm afraid to ask her. I don't want to hear the answer. I should just keep quiet. It's easy to pretend that everything's alright. I'll let the sound of Nagi's knitting wash over me. Clack, clack, clack. And with slightless, unseeing eyes, I turn my attention back to the television. Some time passes like this, I don't know how much, until Nagi eventually sets her knitting down. The sun set. She stretches, raising her slender arms above her head, then says, in a lilting sing-song, My, it's getting late. I must have gotten carried away, hee. Nagi turns to look out the window, as do I. I didn't realize it being so engrossed in the TV screen and in the sound of Nagi's knitting needles, but the day really has flown by. It was light, azure blue beyond the panes of my window when I last looked, but it's not now. The sky is pitch black. I suppose it's true what they say. Time flies when you're having fun, hee. Were you having fun? I would have thought you'd been bored out of your mind sitting with me all day. It couldn't have been that exciting. Oh no, Ayumu, perish the thought. Being with you is never boring. You're my boyfriend after all, and I love you a lot. How could I ever find your company dull? I was barely any company. We weren't even talking. We don't need to be. Being with you is enough to make me happy, silly. Is that so? If Nagi's telling the truth, then we save. She must have really low standards. I don't think there's anything special about me when I'm awake and alert, much less when I'm half asleep. Nagi must have some sort of agenda here. Either that or she's easy to please. Very cynical individual, aren't I? I wonder which is worse. Now. Nagi stretches, then rises. Her black skirt shifts about her thighs and she smooths the fabric down absently between her palms. I should probably prepare some dinner for you, dear. You must be starving. Ah, I hadn't realized it until Nagi said it, but she's right. That rice porridge I had earlier is all the food I've had today. I should be a lot hungrier than I usually am. Let me see what you have in the fridge. Nagi heads off to the kitchen, her slippered soles impressing themselves almost soundlessly against the floor. I hear the sound of the kitchen door opening, then a faraway rustle of activity. I imagine Nagi standing by the fridge, bathed in its cool and unnatural light, with one finger held to her chin and her brow furrowed in thought. What will she find in there? Is there anything to find? I can't remember the last time I went to the store. I'm surprised I had enough ingredients lying around for her to make that rice porridge. A few moments pass before I hear the faint sound of the kitchen door slamming. Nagi must have given up on her search for sustenance, something which becomes readily apparent when she says, after materializing in the doorway, "There isn't very much in the fridge. Nothing, at least, I can really use. I think I'm going to have to go to the convenience store." "You don't mind waiting a little for your dinner, do you, Ayumu?" "Oh no, that's fine. I haven't taken a look at the inside of my fridge in a while, but I can't imagine Nagi found much more in there, maybe beyond a couple eggs, some slices of plasticky cheese, and maybe some expired vegetables. I've been living on cup noodles mostly for the last few months. Those and rice crackers. I can't really go wrong with rice crackers, though they don't make for the most nutritious of meals. I'll try not to be too long. I don't like leaving you." "You will be alright on your own, won't you?" "I'm sure I will. You don't need to fuss. I'm not a child." "I know you're not, but sometimes you can be so petulant." "Am I being petulant right now?" "Well, maybe. We'll have to wait and see, hee. Promise me you'll stay here, won't you? Be a good boy now." Yeah, I promise." "Hey, don't you yeah me, mister. I'm saying this, because I care about you. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm mad." Nagi's voice is light, but I can sense a threatening undercurrent beneath her words. She sounds very invested in making me stay here, more perhaps than simple concern about my health might dictate. Does she really think I'm that frail? It's not like I'm going to turn into dust at the moment I step outdoors. I'm not a vampire. That's what I like to tell her, but something about her expression stops me short. It isn't the sort of expression I want to argue with. "Right, I'll stay here." "You promise?" "That's right. I promise." "Good, I'll hold you to that. Don't forget it, Ayumu." 57. If you lie, I might have to make you swallow 1,000 needles. Isn't that a little harsh? No, it's a fairly standard punishment, I think, as far as these things go. And in any case, you would deserve it. You might be my wonderful boyfriend, but I won't absolve you of all your crimes. 58. Lying is bad, Ayumu. It's a sin. And lying to a cute girl like me is the biggest sin of all. Huh. Now that's an interesting way of looking at things. Does lying become more grievous an offense the cuter the person being lied to is? I have not heard that one before. I'll be off now then. Stay safe, darling. I will. See you later. But of course, it's not like you're going to go anywhere. I'll be back before you know it, hee. I watch as Nagi bends to put on her shoes and her hair falls over her shoulder in the process, brushing her cheek. With her shoes on, she then stands, her pale, slender fingers curling around the door handle. The handle shifts, then the lock clicks and Nagi steps out into the hallway. The sound of the closing front door echoes through my apartment. It's low and dull, like an audible piece of punctuation. Now that she's gone, I feel... Save. Let's save here. Yes. I feel relieved. In Nagi's absence, I find that I can finally breathe again. In her company, I found myself forever holding my breath, second-guessing her every remark or movement without being aware that this is what I was doing. Sweet though she may be, I don't feel comfortable around her. I think there's more to her than what she's letting on. But I don't know what that might be. 61. She might call herself my girlfriend, but how can that be? I can't remember spending any time with her before, and regardless of how sick I might be, it seems unlikely that my fever would be strong enough to completely obliterate all of my memories. The things she says aren't mapping onto the things I know. I have no idea how she got into my apartment. Nor why she seems to know so much about me. But I don't know if I can trust her. I don't know if I can take that risk. I don't think I want to spend more time with her. What then should I do? Should I sit here in bed like a good little boy waiting for her inevitable, invariable return from the shop? Or would I be better served to try and stage an escape? Surf we save. First we save, over here. There we go. We leave the apartment. I turned my options over in my head for a few moments before eventually I came to a conclusion. I'm gonna have to leave. Something strange is going on here, from the persistent static of my television to the crying voice which called to me on my telephone, and I want to figure out what it is. I'm not gonna make any headway on that if I do everything Nagi asks of me. She might call herself my nurse, but she's starting to really feel eerily like a prison warden. That being the case, I have no choice but to stage a jailbreak. I throw my covers back, which feel a little damp. I think I must have sweated over them. Gross. And haul myself to my feet. My legs feel weak. But they don't, to my relief, collapse beneath me. They're just about strong enough that I can support myself, strong enough to buoy me from my bedside and over to the kitchen. Uh-oh. Are you there? Okay. What if Nagi's out there? What do you reckon? She's just waiting for us to try and escape. I push the door open. I'm hiding behind my microphone, by the way. The music has gotten extremely loud too. I push the door open, which cleaves to my touch with a creak, then step inside. I'm taking off one headphone. The moment I cross the threshold of my kitchen, however, pain pierces my temple and I double in on myself. My fingers fly to my forehead and I groan. 66. What? My vision begins to blur. I blink. I'm not gonna pass out, am I? Is my fever really that bad? For a few moments I see, or I think I see, at least, the way my kitchen ought to be. I see a sink piled high with dirty pots and dishes, some of which are cracked. The countertops are covered with crumpled, empty soda bottles and aluminium cans. The floor is covered in rubbish, so much so I can scarcely see the fake wooden boards beneath it. Flies hum in the air, suspended on silvery wings which beat back and forth. There are flies in the sink. There are flies in the dustbin which is overflowing. One of them lands on my forearm and I cry in alarm. ... question mark, exclamation mark. I slap at the fly, but it evades me. It buzzes off, its wings beating back and forth with a droning hum. A dull pain throbs in my arm where I slapped myself, and in my palm. I must have used more force than I realized. I blink and then... unease. 69. Nice. ... question mark. The world has reverted back to the way it was before. The countertops are clean, as is the floor. Everything is impeccably tidy. The plates and cups and dishes are all stowed away inside their respective cupboards. My kitchen looks wholly respectable again. It's the sort of kitchen not even the meanest, pettiest of landlords could find fault with. It's a tidy kitchen, indisputably, but it isn't my kitchen. It isn't what I remember. None of this is. The world is warping around me. Why does my head hurt so much? 74. I stagger through the kitchen on uneasy feet, half expecting to step on crumpled PET bottles, PET plastic bottles, and strewn packages from convenience store food, and head towards the sink. My fingers, which are white and shaking, grip the edge of the sink for support. With unfocused eyes, I look down. There should be dirty cookery in here, but my expectations are, once again, betrayed. The sink is more or less empty, apart from the knife Nagi was washing earlier. She must have forgotten about it. That was awfully clumsy of her. I eye the knife with some trepidation. I can see my own face reflected in its silvery surface. Take it. Take it and hide it. Use it as a weapon for later. It almost seems to be goading me into taking it. Maybe I ought to bring it with me just in case. Just in case what? I don't know, I feel so unnerved. However, a bit of protection would go a long way. This knife is quite long though. There's no way I'd be able to hide it on me. Maybe there'll be a more inconspicuous weapon somewhere else in the kitchen. My eyes dart here and there until eventually I spot a pair of scissors. These are scissors that are used for cutting meat. They're slotted neatly in a circular pot full of similar utensils, wooden spoons, tongs, and the like. These scissors are smaller than the knife. They should be easier to hide. I think they probably fit inside my pocket, or if push comes to shove, inside my waistband of my trousers. What should I do? Oh wow, that's a lot of options very suddenly. Here. I am the kind of person that likes to take... what would I say? What would I do? Concealed weapon. Use it if needed. Better to have it than not have it. Take the scissors. Taking the scissors might be the best bet after all. I should be able to conceal them fairly easily, and the blade should still be sharp enough if push comes to shove to defend myself. I'm hoping it won't come to that, of course, but it never hurts to be prepared. I'm just taking the precautions necessary against an unknown enemy. That doesn't mean I'll actually use these scissors though. I hope I don't have to. It's with shaking fingers that I reach for the scissors, which lie in their pot, innocent and unassuming in their state of disuse, on the kitchen counter. I clasp them, claim them, and slide them into my pocket. I can feel the blades impressing themselves against my thigh, even through the fabric of my trousers. They're cold and unforgiving, as weapons tend to be, designed for no purpose beyond cutting. With some luck, they should be able to cut my connection with Nagi too. Ooh. My decision made, I turn on my heels, then approach the front door. Alright, Nagi. Out you come. I fully expected it to be locked. Why should anything, in my attempted escape, be easy? But to my surprise, the handle twists easily enough beneath my fingers. The lock clicks, and then the door, rather anticlimactically, opens inwards. Dots. I sigh, expelling a warm, feverish breath into the cool air. That was quite the surprise, but I'm not sure if it's wholly pleasant. If the door had refused to budge, that would have given me an excuse to give up on my attempted escape. I wouldn't have to take my future into my own hands. It sounds like quite a tempting thought actually, surrendering myself to the votive hands of my sweet, doting girlfriend. But no, I can't let myself be like that. We're a gigachad, that's what we are. The door is open. Despite all the odds, there must be a sign of something, surely. Is it a Sigma male mindset? The Sigma male grindset. We have to know more. It means I shouldn't stay here. +3 on these, we're at 77. It's time to face reality.